Whether we are doing these types of burns in the backcountry or managing fire on the front country, fire's going to happen. So let's get better at it. Let's understand it.
Fire's always been in the high country. Those ecosystems have been adapted by fire over the years, and it's going to take fire to keep them healthy.
In a fire-dependent ecosystem like the Eagle Cap Wilderness, our intent is to, as much as possible, allow fire to play that natural role.
It's a good place to have a managed fire, a long-term event.
Right in the middle of the wilderness on a year that was wetter than normal. It's surrounded almost entirely by high rocky ridges.
So it was the right place at the right time. A lot of times folks just see a bunch of burned out black sticks and or big fire burning houses and that kind of thing, and that's not all what fire is. You know, there's a lot of good fire out there. The ground needs more fire.
When we eliminate fire, what happens is the vegetation grows in pretty densely.
There's too many trees, there's too much fuel on the ground, there's a lot of insect and disease mortality now. The general health of the forest is pretty poor. A lot of that is from exclusion of fire.
If you eliminate fire, you end up with more and more trees and less open area. And it's really the open areas that attract us to these mountains. It's the open areas where the elk are going to feed.
Well, without these sorts of large events, your stream habitat, your fish habitat will kind of stagnate. Our riparian and stream systems are disturbance systems. They're created and maintained and rejuvenated by these large natural events that we have.
We have a lot of science that helps us manage fire, but this one we learned more about the art of managing a fire.
The position this fire was in, it was very easy to check a small portion of it to keep it from spreading somewhere where we didn't want it to go.
We have a lot of images in the public that show bad outcomes from fire, and so naturally the communities are worried about it. We let them know that we had resources available to check the fire. If the fire behavior was getting a little bit too exciting, we could put water on it, and we did plenty of times.
We have quite a few computer models, so the probability of fire spread, fire behavior models that help you determine flame lengths, rate of spread, and then definitely the weather models. They're all used to determine where we think the fire is going to go, when it's going to get there, how long it could possibly burn. We have a fire behavior analyst, we have a long-term analyst that comes in and utilizes those computer models to help inform those decisions.
The burn effects we were seeing as it was moving across the slope were just fantastic.
You couldn't have planned a better prescribed burn, in my opinion. It took a month and a half roughly to burn 5,500 acres.
One thing that kind of struck me about this fire was just how non-uniform it was. You know, it wasn't a wall of fire just marching through and burning up everything in the process.
A good burn, like this one was, takes out some of the trees, but leaves the big, healthy, strong trees. The smaller, weaker, diseased trees, those are the ones that get taken out by the fire.
We had some great backing fire, flanking fire that was low intensity as well as low severity. We had some uphill runs that were pretty high intensity and gonna end up having some mortality. There's some places that didn't have a lot of mortality, but it cleaned up a lot of the undergrowth, a lot of the fields on the ground.
When you open that canopy up, the light comes through, and then the plants that are at ground level have a chance to thrive.
You get more meadows, more grass, more brush, more places for the animals to forage. When we decide to manage a fire for resource benefit like Granite Gulch, we do reach out to the commissioners, we reach out to our cooperators.
And there really aren't that many people opposed to that kind of thing. And then when they find out that we, the commissioners, or others were actually informed and asked our opinion of, is this an area where you think we can do this, they're far more comfortable with that.
We still need to put fires out, but when we have the opportunity, again, the right place, the right time, you have your stakeholders on board, you have your private landowners on board, we need to allow more fire on the ground.
When these fires occur, there needs to be a really thoughtful process to think hard about, is this the right place and the right time, the right circumstances. As we looked at this one, and we did internally and with the Forest Service, I think we all agreed this would be a good candidate.
There's bad fire for sure, and when it is burning, values at risk and people's in holdings or homes, that's not good fire. But there's a lot of fire out there that is good for the ground. I think people realize that. When they see Granite Gulch, they'll certainly realize that.